All right, welcome back. We are COMP397 in the winter 2020 semester at Centennial, and it's week 8, part 1 of our broadcast. We're going to talk about assignment 2 details. So we released assignment 2 this week, right? So let's talk about it. I want to make sure that everyone is good and they know what's due. All right, so first of all, one of the challenges with doing this course is trying to learn all the technologies by yourself, right? And you guys did very well in the midterm for the most part. The ones that I've looked at, I haven't marked them all yet, but for the ones that I've seen, they're good. Like, I mean, much better than I expected, right? So I don't think there's a problem there. Some people haven't handed in their assignment 1. When I was going through the marking, they didn't do assignment 1 for some reason or another. I'm not sure what I can do for that one. But let's talk about assignment 2, and then we'll talk about some other administrative issues. So assignment 2, you're going to make a simple scrolling game, right? It's going to be due way out in March, the end of March, March 28th. That's 3 weeks from now. It sounds like it's far away again, but it's not far away. It's very short. It's going to come at you very quickly, assignment 2. Assignment 2 is worth 12%. It's an individual assignment. You do it by yourself, right? And your job is to make a very simple scrolling game, right? Again, let me talk about this. So really, you're going to work alone. You're going to make, and I put in air quotes, original 2D game. It's not really original. You can make it maybe inspired by something else you've done or you've seen. So let's say you really like Galaga, as an example, the old game. So let's look at Galaga for a second. And for people who don't know what that is. So Galaga was this old game. I can't play the video, but I can show you images. So it looks like this. So here's Galaga, right? And you want to make this game where these things are coming at you, some old retro game, and you want to kind of recreate this idea. 1981, wow, I feel old. And that's cool. Or maybe you feel like making something like Gradius, right? Gradius is, again, an older kind of arcade game. It kind of looks like this. And you have a level, and you have a scrolling star background in the background, and some other stuff. Or maybe you really want to make some other kind of games that are very similar to that, like an old arcade game that you like. What is it? Atari, what is it? How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
River, you know, the river and
River?
R-A-I-D.
Oh, River Raid. Yeah, River Raid. Okay, River Raid.
River Raid.
Yeah, so that's like way back. So that's this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's pretty simple, but sure. I mean, whatever game you want to make. Don't make it too crazy, but the idea is you have some kind of game where you're going to make it an old arcade game. Things you can't make, okay? Things that you can't make. Please don't make a puzzle game. It's okay. Puzzle games, not going to be allowed. No puzzle games. No car games. So no car racing games where you have like cars coming at you like this. Not going to be allowed. Okay? No cars. And you can make a car game like you're moving a car across a field and you have some obstacles, but don't make it like there's lanes of a road and you're moving left and right. Don't make that for me. Don't make a Flappy Bird clone. Okay? No Flappy Bird. Okay, I won't accept those things. If you have a question about whether it's acceptable, talk to me. Is this okay? Ask me that question. If it's okay, I'll tell you it's okay. Right? But make it so that it's like a classic arcade game. Pick whatever arcade game you want to make. You have to use your own graphic and sound assets. That means you have to get them. You don't have to make them. Okay, so you can get them from wherever. This game will have sound by default. You must have sound. Okay. So you need the few things. One, you need a menu screen. So something to start your game off, just like we have so far in MailPilot. You're going to have a play scene, an instruction screen, and an exit scene. Okay, so those are the 3 screens you have. I only need 1 level for this one. Okay, some of you are making a scrollable shooter as your game, right? You and your team are making that. And one of the questions I was asked in a previous section was, well, if we're making a scrollable shooter anyway, can we just continue doing our scrollable shooter and make another level for that scrollable shooter? And the answer is yeah. If you're making a scrollable shooter with your team, and if every one of you makes a whole new level apart from the stuff you've already done. So, for example, let's say you already handed in your alpha. Your alpha right now, which is, by the way, due tomorrow night at midnight, is you have to have at least, let's say, 2 levels for your alpha. But let's say for assignment 2, you want to make your own level. That's a 3rd level. That's going to attach. You can attach that to your project, right? And if there's 4 people on your team, in this case, as an example, and you each do a level different than the other 2 levels you did for your alpha, right? Then you can have 6 levels of gameplay, right? As an example, for your final project, and you get marks for your assignment 2. It's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. So if you really want to do this, you can use this as an opportunity for everyone to contribute, right? For their project. You can use the same assets or very similar assets. However, one of the things you're going to have is your own code base. So you can't say, well, here, prof, here's our project, and it includes 6 levels, and it's March 28th. No. That'll be for your final. That'll be for your beta and for your final release, right? And maybe you may not even like all the levels. What if everyone makes levels, but you only want to use the top 2, right? Or whatever. That's okay. But you can get credit for what you've done. Okay? So your project, again, your little individual assignment is due the 28th, 3 weeks from now. I recommend you start as soon as possible. As soon as you're done this alpha release, which is due Sunday, start on your assignment 2. Okay? It's going to take a bit of time. So again, you have instruction screen, you have your gameplay screens. You at least have to have 1 level. I recommend keep it to 1 because you have a lot of workload in other classes. Don't go too crazy with it. Your game over screen should allow me to play again. Very simple. Some kind of avatar. You're going to move around a vehicle or a character or something around the screen. You don't have to have weapons. If you're a non-violent person, you can make it so that you avoid obstacles. That's okay, right? You don't have to have weapons. You can make it hazards, like, I don't know, acid traps or some weird thing, that you have to avoid or jump over. And some kind of random opportunities to generate points. Maybe you're going to pick up some gold or some coins or some resources or whatever. Some kind of status. I want, status for the player, and they're going to have two types of status that I want. Health status, maybe, and maybe some kind of progression or score. It's up to you how you want to make this. But these 2 points, H and I, are about status, right? So I want you to tell me how the player is doing. Are they doing well in the game? Are they hurt? What's happening? Sound effects are required, and so is a simple soundtrack. And you can find all this stuff. All your assets can be through Open Game Art or searching the internet. It's totally fine. You don't have to make any of it. I don't expect that from you guys. Okay? So that's the game. Internal documentation, that's like normal. Put your name and your student number and all that stuff. That's worth 5 marks. Some people forgot to do this for their test. That was a big doc on the test. And then external documentation, you're going to make a little GDD. But again, if you're working on a project that you're working on with a team, right? Your team is, let's say, a group of 4. As an example, and you are already working on a game and you have a GDD, just extend it. Just add stuff to it. Say, this is my level, and this is the game we were making. I'm just extending it, and here's what I'm doing. However, if you're making a completely new game by yourself, then you're going to have to make a little GDD, nothing too crazy. Your logo can be very simple. You can use the same logo that you're using for your team and just say, let's say, for example, I was part of a team called Product of Primes. I'm just making this up. Then I would say Product of Primes by Tom, kind of thing, or, or whatever, featuring Tom, whatever, and that's me. And then this is what I did from my team, right? And then you can have some basic stuff, your logo, your contents, your history, all that stuff, just like we've asked in the past. Interface sketches like a wireframe, and you kind of did all this already for your assignment 1, if you did it properly. You make some basic descriptions and basically tell me. You don't have to even use a template too much. Just tell me what you're doing. What are you making? As long as you hit all this stuff, all these details, I'm good to go. If you make it pretty, it's going to be nicer for you, right? Okay, and then share your files on GitHub. what's not required in this case is to make your game live. However, if you do, it's better for me to mark, and it's better for you to practice. So making your game live is pretty simple. Some optional features: you can add a boss monster if you really want to at the end of a long level. You can add power-ups to the player's avatar, like speed or shield or something like that. Cheat codes, a mini game. Don't go too crazy with the mini game. This takes way too long to do. Way too long. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. Empower the player to gain an NPC, some kind of non-player character, which is computer controlled. You know, you move, it moves, you fire, it fires. One of those kind of things, right? Make it possible for the player to save and load his game. That's not too difficult to do. So some other features and maybe other things. Anything else you can think of. Whatever you do, please make a little note of it and let me know of any bonus features so I can make sure I credit you when I'm finally finished marking. Okay? And that's it. That's due, again, 3 weeks from now on March 28th. Okay? So it's an individual assignment. This is worth 12. The last one was also worth 12. Your midterm was worth 20, right, as an example. So this is like, this and the midterm is like 50% of your work. So it's 50% for midterm, 50%, or well, this and the midterm is 50% individual, and then your project is another 50%, which is, you know, team. Okay? That's how it works. Any questions around this? All right. So again, I'm going to stop recording now. This is just the details for your assignment 2, and then I'll make another recording for the stuff we're doing today.